It has been a strange 2023 season for the Los Angeles Dodgers as they stand currently 43 and 34, 3.5 games out of first place in the National League West, third place in the division, tied with the Giants, and 3.5 games, like I mentioned, behind the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is the division race we all knew was coming. Before the season started, everybody had this on the predictions. Seriously, I did not predict this was going to happen. We knew the D-backs would be better. The D-backs rebuild was going well. We knew they'd be improved. Maybe a playoff team. Maybe if everything went right. Clearly, it's going right. The San Francisco Giants. The Giants are just a team that really you just cannot predict. Like year to year, this team is just a mixed bag of balls. You just don't know what you're getting. Either pearls or mud road balls. You just never know what you're getting with the Giants. And even through their World Series years, they were always just a mixed bag. And you're seeing it again this year. Giants are doing pretty well for themselves, right? They're independent race. Can they stay there the rest of the year? We shall see. But, a 10-game win streak kind of bodes well for them. So if a team has a 10-game win streak or a 10-game losing streak or any kind of streak that high, usually is a pretty good indicator of what that team is going to be during the season. Of course, we all thought the Padres would be a part of this race. We thought it would be the Dodgers and the Padres battling head-to-head. Clearly, I mean, unless just a miraculous, change of events here, switch of the tide, I don't think that's going to happen at all this year. I don't think the Padres will be in this race at all. They're just not. I mean, pretty wild to say or even think about that, considering where we were before the year. The Dodgers, a 4-1 week. I was pretty down on them the last couple of weeks before, playing not really good baseball in the month of June. They were not playing good baseball. They were like 5-10, and then all of a sudden they go 4-1. So rightfully so, I was down on them. But again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Now they're playing good ball. Lost their last game to the Houston Astros on Sunday night, but overall, I think the team is sort of heading in the right direction. They're getting reinforcements back. I think what this team's makeup is going to be as far as the season goes along and the team in general, going to be the trade deadline. The trade deadline is going to be the telltale of the season. It's going to be the telltale story of the Dodgers. What are they going to do at the trade deadline? What are they going to do? I don't know. I think the obvious need is pitching. There's a lack of pitching depth, right, with this Dodgers team. The 2020 run, they had a pretty good depth of pitching there. Tony Gonsolin started the Game 6 that the Dodgers clinched the World Series. So, there was a good amount of pitching depth there. You had a young Dustin May. Just a good amount of depth there. So the Dodgers right now have 3 or 4 starters. They need pitching. That's obvious. We don't know if Dustin May's coming back, and that's gonna really suck. That's gonna suck. Walker Buehler had Tommy John last year, was out for the year the rest of the way, did not have the postseason. That sucked. So losing Dustin May, if it does come out that he's going to be out the rest of the year for whatever reason, is going to hurt. It's going to be a huge detriment to this ball club because Dustin May is an ace. He really is up there with an ace kind of level. Tony Gonsolin, a guy that can be hit or miss sometimes, right? He can hit or miss. Clayton Kershaw, who Clayton Kershaw is. Don't got to worry about him. Julio Urias hasn't been out since the middle of May. He's expected back this weekend in Kansas City, so we're going to see what type of Julio we get. I think even in 2020, Julio was not all that great, and then he just was lights out in the playoffs. So if that's going to be the story of Julio Urias, which could very well end up happening, in his contract year, getting Urias back right smack dab in that rotation is going to be huge. Is Bob Miller going to be a part of this rotation for the whole season into October? You got Emmett Sheehan, who has been really good in 2 starts. So there's a lot of question marks with this rotation. And then I have a lot of question marks as well with the offense side of the ball. There's a lot of guys batting sub 220. I'm going to go that low, 220. Even 220 is a low standard or a high standard, whatever you want to call it, for the Dodgers batters, besides Freddie and Mookie and Will Smith and maybe a couple of others. But really, that's kind of the watermark. I start off with David Peralta. I think David Peralta is playing head over his heels. I think he's going to come down to earth. Jason Hayward, I like Jason Hayward. I think Jason Hayward has been pretty consistent all year long. I think he is who he is, around a 240, maybe 250 hitter. He's been that all year long, so I think he's going to be consistent. I think come playoff time, he'll get some big hits, with that veteran experience. So I do like Jason Hayward, lefty bat there. James Outman, started off April really high. We were proclaiming him Rookie of the Year that has sort of, gone by the wayside. I don't know what James Outman's going to be. James Outman, though, has not really done it for me. He's just not done it in 2 months. He's just not producing, and so that's troublesome for the future. But really, let's just focus on this year. It's troublesome. Let's go to the infield now. I mean, Chris Taylor, infield, outfield, around that 220 mark. Contract is not aging all that well, but he can get the big hits in the big situations. I do think he can. Max Muncy, I'm not high on Max Muncy. He is also slated to return, I believe, in Colorado this week. So, like, Max Muncy, yeah, he's good. Well, he could hit a home run, I should say, but like a 191 average, I'm not doing dances for getting a 191 average back. Like, say what you want about 18 home runs. He's batting 191. Let's get real now. 191 batting average says it all for me. Michael Busch hasn't really impressed. Miguel Vargas has been awful. Let's just be honest. Selling all the Miguel Vargas stock there is. The guy has just really not proven anything to me that he can be a hitter at this major league level. It's so early, but I mean, come on. Like, this team has championship aspirations, right? Miguel Vargas is not cutting it to being part of the everyday lineup. There are glaring holes on this Dodger offense. Like, I named a couple of outfielders, a couple of infielders. There are glaring holes on this Dodgers offense that need to be filled. I don't know if they're going to be able to fill every single hole, so like, that's a concern. You look at other deep teams like the Braves, for example. The D-backs, I think, are even better than the Dodgers at this point. But can they win the division? I think they can. I think the Dodgers can, and I think they will end up winning the division. I just cannot close my eyes at night and think about the D-backs winning the division. Not because I don't want them to, but I just cannot see that scenario ever playing out. Like, I'm not dissing them, but it's just a thing. Like, I can't see the D-backs winning out the division. And if they do, credit to them. But I think the Dodgers will eventually hang on and win this division. But yeah, guys, that's just my overall thoughts right now on the Dodgers. We'll see how they do on this upcoming road trip versus some pretty bad teams. I expect them to go out there and win some ball games, win a lot of ball games, and get hot going into the All-Star break. So with that being said, I'm going to sign off. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys again next time. Later.